All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Yes, we have a special Monday edition of this broadcast due to some family switcheroos that had to be done yesterday. The long and short of it is I had to deliver brother's kids to their mother because he had to visit his eldest son in an undisclosed location, put it. Yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, but regardless. So we should have a review that's up here first, and two impression vids. First thing, the fourth game, Over the Top World War One. We attempt to have a multiplayer mayhem session over Saturday evening, and that didn't go well because holy shit, the multiplayer is right out of like 19.
I haven't fucked with port forwarding in 20 years, and I was not ready to deal with it on the spot right there.
No, that actually takes work, and none of us were expecting that because we live in the year 6, and easy multiplayer solutions for C games have existed since the late 90s.
Yeah. I make this joke a lot, but this has been a solved problem for decades.
I will grant that this can create long-term problems. Any game that you GameSpy is back. But regardless, there's no real reason why your game shouldn't have something like GameWorks or Epic Online Services, something like that, to do your internet backend stuff these days. Like,
especially with at least as many reviews as the game had. So clearly people have at least purchased it.
I get the feeling that the people who play that game are probably very dedicated to it. Because they're the kind of people who would willingly deal with setting up port in this day and age.
Or purchase, like, rent a server or something like that. They may not necessarily set it up on their own, but they may have just purchased a ready-to-go solution.
Anyway, also, Galax is not here yet. I suspect work, his actual day job, may be a culprit there. I don't think it's that he forgot.
Though it is possibly forgot. We don't know, and we won't know till he shows up.
Well, I've pinged him twice already. So, not active. So, we kind of need him here for video number 3. But we'll get to that when we get to... Before such things occur, we got our review for the week. Monster Crown. So, Monster Crown, Eater, handcraft your team of perfect monsters and wage a one-man war against fate and the world in the Crown Nation. With a true cross-breeding system, every monster is entirely your own. Okay, so that's not really describing what this game is. It's Pokemon. It's very much old school Pokemon. Like, in a way that a lot of Pokemon-inspired games aren't. Like, this game is more Pokemon than arguably Pokemon is they. Now, how deep the mechanics are mapped one-to-one and all that stuff, I couldn't say because, unfortunately, I only played about 6 hours of this, and it's an RPG, so that's a lot of time, and a lot of factors have at the heart of I wasn't able to sink about 1,000 hours, so I have no idea how or if IV that the very deep Pokemon mechanics have been replicated here to that end. But surface level, absolutely, it's Pokemon. As I was telling Petty in the show, if I had to pick era, GBA, DS, really landing on the GBA because, well, look at it. This is like a much better looking GBA in terms of art. And in terms of the mechanics, once again, very much operates in the same area as Pokemon. There are some differences, like, for example, the amount of monsters. I think the count is 9. If you'll see, those scrolls on the side, on the left side above your player's avatar head, that is a representation of all the monsters you can have. And the point is, you can carry more monsters than a Pokemon. That works both ways, though. As you can encounter I forget what they call the creatures in game, like demons or something.
I skipped over it.
Let me see. The point is, the monsters here are not confined. Also, they are kind of operating on a much more Shin Megami Tensei demon level than Pokemon in game. It's not as elaborate as that, because you don't go out and talk to the monsters and negotiate getting onto. No, you've got these things. You've got these soul con that you offer up to the monster, and that operates once again like Pokemon. As in, you have to battle a monster, their health down enough, and then you offer up the contract. If they're weak enough, they'll sign on the dotted line, and there are levels of contract. A key difference, though, this game does not hoard the upper tier contracts like Pokemon. Like, you will absolutely come across what they call contract very early. In fact, you will encounter monsters that can only be subdued with a demon contract, the highest level of contract. Like in the literal first cave. Like the ending monster is a demon type or darkness type. The point is, you can't use a regular contract. You have to find a contract in a random chest. Every so often you will find backpacks and chests, overworld, and labyrinth, and they will carry a bunch of items which operate with me now like Pokemon. Healing, reviving KOs, that the aforementioned contracts, fast travel feather, that kind.
Did you get far enough to know if there's like any like HMs like cut, surf, fly?
Yes. But not HM. You need to have the type of in order to certain, like, there was a text crawl that mentioned you need a water type in order to traverse over a body of water.
So is it just based purely off type? You don't need to have a specific move on a specific monster.
No, because see, this is another thing that really nails this into a later era of Pokemon. You can actually ride, provided they're like big and like my big water demon, absolutely rideable. So, get him in the water, he fine. But like, I don't know if they got like the specific HM, but in terms of the TM, the learnable trait, once again, it operates similar to Pokemon. I don't know if the monsters carry a certain amount, but if they do, they can certainly carry more than Pokemon. Another key difference in this game is you, as in your player character. Because your player character can be an active participant.
Oh, man.
In fact, in the actual game, like, you don't start off with a... You get the tutorial battle, but then your brother takes away your... Because, you don't need an extra mouth to... That was literally the example given. So, your first task, you have to get to the first town, but on the way, you will see monsters on the... And in a break from Pokemon, you will be able to see all the monsters on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can avoid them if it's if such a... But, so in order to combat the monsters, like, you got a gun. Like, obviously, this is the most, how do I put this? Un-genre thing in this game. Like, I can't think of another Pokemon or even, like, Shin Megami Tensei, Dragon Quest, monsters. Like, anything where, like, a real gun is fight the monster and, kill them.
I mean,
Like,
Shin Megami Tensei, you do have firearms as an option and the playable character.
Yeah, but it's not like here's a gun to defend yourself from the wild.
Yeah.
Like, or I guess it would put it more towards Shin Megami Tensei. Like, the point is, it's very un-Pokemon. Or Digimon. Or, insert kitty franchise. Because this game, as inspired and influenced by Pokemon as it is absolutely not a kid's.
Yeah.
Oh God!
As the bastard love child of SMT and Pokemon.
Yes, because it's got the adult theme.
Yup.
Oh boy! Does it have the adult theme? How do I?
Do we need a content warning for you to go into it, or is it just?
No, it's so unlike other titles that come out in the wake of Pokemon, but it also doesn't feel like the bratty teenage edgy version that I.
So it doesn't really feel like Pokemon ROM hack, let's say.
Yeah, or Pal World.
So you're not
Because-
like chopping up the monsters to eat them or whatever. They're still your friends. There's just other things going on.
Okay, so I guess a bit of a spoiler. Like, your first quest is to go rescue your brother from being executed for high treason against the state.
Oh, that's fun.
Like-
That typical sibling behavior, right?
Yeah, and okay, first of all, the first major antagonist, like the Point Lady, she is a psychosexual freak who gets off on execution.
Ah, so that
Yeah.
trope's still alive.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of doubly creepy when it's a fucking mantis lady doing it. On point, I'll give you, like, because I know what actual praying habits like, but still, it's weird in a game like this. Yes, I know they're demons, monsters, what have you. But it's still off-putting. And this game does have the swearing. Not edgy amounts of swearing, not Devil May Cry on Netflix levels of edginess like that. But, you're still gonna hear saltier language than, once again, insert franchise. Even Shin Megami Tensei. No, like that also goes down route. It's been a while since.
Yeah. It depends on the era of SMP, because some of them are a
Yeah.
little more language than others.
Yeah. And when you get to the execution platform area, the very obvious thing happened, and the underground resistance shows itself. Brother gets executed. You get to see his head chopped right off, and blood and everything. It's really not fun, because you know what you have to do next? You have to drag his fucking corpse home, and you get to see that.
Enjoyable.
Like, yeah. And then you actually have to maneuver your character to your home, get to the farmland. So, like I said, not a kid's. Anyway, so the mechanic I really did not get to is the monster cross, which I know this game is like really hyping up as this huge innovation. It's really not.
Yeah, like we've had monster breeding in these things since literally Generation 2.
Yeah, like Monster Cross and Monster Fusion. Okay, maybe that's not so much in Pokemon, but in other Monster Ranch, Dragon Quest Monster, the aforementioned Megami Tensei, all have this mechanic. Like, and from what I'm reading here, it's playing out like, you look at the trait monsters A and B, crossbreed them, get a new monster, and hopefully you get the best trait. If there's more mechanically for things, I could not say. Unfortunate, but that's kind of the peril when you're on a weekly review schedule for you get an RP, like a proper RP. Like, I do wish I had the time, but priorities not there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyway, getting back to something that this game does have in common with Pokemon are item. You know, if you have the proper item, you evolve your Pikachu to a Raichu, or you know, the Evolution. I don't know if they have a monster that's as elaborate as, but it absolutely has item evolution. So the overall point here is, if you're familiar with Pokemon, especially older titles, you will feel very at home with what's on offer here. Petty, you've been playing the game. How do you feel this game is comparing to Pokemon?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Like,
yeah,
they didn't do it. There's no story in the demo, which is what I'm playing. So
right.
I'm literally just playing this as like an early Pokemon game where they were just giving me some dudes, and I've been getting more dudes.
Yeah. Well, let's face facts here. Pokemon never really did evolve. At least not in the line. Like, maybe Pokemon Coliseum. Much more of a proper RPG. I think the best the games have ever managed was the Team Plasma.
Sun Moon managed to do some pretty good story stuff, too.
Oh. Finally arrived.
I've been being quiet, but yeah, sorry, I forgot we were doing this Monday.
If we were taking bets, I would have won.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is, Pokemon. No Pokemon title has like a proper plot like the game does. This is like, what if Pokemon had a much more traditional JRPG, i.e., you know, your brother has been killed by the state. I'm going to vow revenge on all of the rulers of the state, who were very obviously evil because, in the grand tradition of JRPGs and Japanese stuff, the lieutenant number is 4.
Yep.
Death.
I think that actually comes from. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. The 4 sub bosses thing comes from Buddhism, I think.
Well, it's also just the number 4 sounds similar to the word for death in Japan.
Yes.
Yes. The point is, since this game is very much digging to that well, it's got it's got the 4 heavenly kings.
Yeah, that's the Buddhist version. I think they are supposed to be guardians of directions or some such.
Yeah, and they got a name similar to that in this title. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, who the bad guys are. And enough. So, ultimately, if you're looking for an old Pokemon title with a much richer narrative, this is your title. Not my cup of tea, if I'm being honest, because I never got into Pokemon. I think I tried Pokemon, like one of the early Pokemon titles, maybe Blue, Gold. Like when I was in high school, it did not. Like,
I guess how is there a bank system,
there are
or
banks.
like if you catch more than the amount that you can have on you, are they automatically sent to a bank, or does it just not let you?
Yes, they are put into the box.
Right.
The thing is, I did not find the equivalent of the Pokemon plate, but you absolutely have that mechanic game. Like I said, this game plays like Pokemon a lot more than other Pokemon.
Mm.
Like, it's not just aesthetical, it's mechanical as well. Oh right. And a key factor that's both similar but different. Thing, because they don't. They have types. But okay. First of all, they don't have as many types Pokemon does, even in the earlier era.
Mm.
Like,
Wise Pokemon imitators usually try to cut down on the type system a little bit because Pokemon is definitely bumping up against the maximum acceptable complexity for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you question because nobody wants to manage different type. Like, this one has like 6 or 7,
Does this
and
have to deal with like dual types, or is it everything just one type?
one way. Literally one way. Like, in trainer's manual, it lays it out. This, this flows into this. This flows into this. This flows in. Very rock paper.
Mm.
Like if you attack with red into blue, let's say. I forget the actual names of the type, but if you attack weakness, it will be a good matchup, and you will do additional damage, 1.5 damage. You go the other way, it'll be a bad matchup, and you will do 0.5. So, and here's the kicker: the type isn't in monster itself; it's in the attack, because you can have a monster with multiple types of attack, like red type and orange type. Comes to mind. Like body tackle was like the red designation. Slash was the orange, something like that.
Mm.
So if you have a varied enough hacker, you could take that into account. Sometimes you just like, or if you get in enough battle, it doesn't matter how good or bad you hit, you still hit hard enough to down and hit.
Mm.
Again, Pokemon also that. Anyway, so in terms of pricing, this game is on expensive end for your typical indie title. It's clocking in $25, $24.99. Thing is, I think that's an appropriate price. For what it's offering. Like, it's offering a proper RPG experience with a lot of depth, complexity, and
There is also a demo available if you at least want to try out the battle system.
yeah. It's just if you're not into Pokemon, maybe look elsewhere. That would be the only caveat, but like honestly, I think this game could have gotten away with being $30,
Mm,
especially when you compare pricing to actual Pokemon. Like
right.
this game is only $5 more than the Fire Red Green,
Right.
which I know people thought was highway robbery, but that those sold 4 million copies.
But also, good luck finding a legitimate cartridge of Fire Red and Leaf Green for under $100.
And even if
Another
you do, battery issues potentially.
Yes.
I'd say like very what 25 years,
Mhm.
like
Well, the only
si-
good thing with the GBA Pokemon games is they use lithium batteries, so they shouldn't leak. It's just a matter of
right.
if you can find someone to replace it for you to keep your clock going.
My point is, this game when run up against actual Pokemon, like it's a value. It's just it's much more of a single player. In fact, it is a single player experience.
Mhm.
So it's missing out on arguably the defining dimension of the multiplayer trading aspect. The thing that made Pokemon the worldwide sensation that it is.
Yeah, because Pokemon wasn't the first to the party, but they were the first one to have the social aspect of trading.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Tent very much on telling story like a proper JRPG narrative. What if we took Final Fantasy? What if we took the Dragon Quest monsters, put it in an actual Dragon Quest?
Mm.
That's what we're talking.
Is there any
And
like pseudo trading like with NPCs, or is it just not in there at all?
I don't know if I got that far.
Mm.
Like like you can sell off your excess monsters,
Mm.
free them. So I'd imagine the pseudo trade mechanic might be there. But absolutely, what is not here is the we got two versions of the game. Some of the monsters are only in version 1, some of the monsters are only in version 2.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm glad that trope died out, Pokemon excluded.
Pokemon's still doing it on the mainline games.
Well, yeah, I know, because Pokemon's the only franchise that made that work.
Mhm.
Or at least sustained it. But regardless, ultimately, this is a very good title. Just don't give it to your 8-year.
Oh God, no!
Um, right. So I think that'll about do it for Monster Crown Theater. Tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be giving impressions on Star Eruption.